You know what today is. It's 10 Toes Tuesday. And the last time we spoke, I was thinking about telling a story, one about my grandfather or about my cousin that I call Unc. And we're on day 27. I'm headed to BJJ, gonna get wrecked tonight, so I wanted to get this story out of the way before I have to to go and wrestle some grown men and women. There's women in the class too. Anyway, I decided I wanted to tell how my cousin saved my life. And the reason I wanted to tell it now is because I'm almost at the unedited 30-day journey. And I figured that I'd wait until my grandfather's story to you next Tuesday. See if I can edit some things out. Try to make things a little bit better. Get 2% better. We'll see if it's shaky like this camera or if I'm actually getting better. I've had some good days and some bad days on here. But I digress. I'm off topic. Let's get back to what we came here for. So let me give you a little background on my cousin. If you haven't tuned in before, my cousin is 6'11". Again, I don't know how much he weighs, but he is a very big man. I am the smallest person in my family. So let that sink in for me. Now, I'm under 6 foot. I'm 5'9". Everyone else is usually 6'1" to 6'11". And he used to babysit me. He has 3 other sisters. I call him Unc because he's that big. But he has 3 other sisters. I love all of my cousins to death. But my cousin, Unc, while my female cousins were babysitting me, he would jump out of the closet and scare me and say he was the boogeyman and stuff like that. My cousin is also very dark. Like I told you the last time, black is cold, but it'll take your soul, and you better bet money on that one. He is not anything to be played with. Well, he lives somewhere in Michigan, and I'm in Ohio. And we don't get to talk that often, but we do communicate through social media and family events and things of that nature. My daughter was in another part of Michigan at this time, and she was dating this gentleman, and I had spoken to him on the phone, relaying fatherly things, nothing threatening. I try to be as cordial as possible. I go about that because the whole angle of pulling the shotgun and acting like a hard ass, it gets you somewhere in some situations. When you're talking about one of your kids, whether it is a boy or a girl, you have to, at least I feel, you should think a little differently. Yeah, you can go over there. Yeah, you can threaten him with everything, but he's going to take that out, or she will take that out, the first time they get mad on your child. Just keep that in mind. My daughter was in Flint, and if you know anything about Flint, Michigan, that's where the water crisis was. They have some very good boxers in there. It's a good city, but it is a very... You should really know someone before you go messing around in Flint, Michigan, Dayton, Ohio, these larger cities that are known to be somewhat nice but violent. This is one of those cities. She had moved in with this gentleman, and they were off and on for probably about a year or so. This one occasion, she called me hysterically, and it is wintertime. It was in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, if I remember correctly, but I know that it was wintertime because there was going to be a snowstorm. And she said, Dad, he's pushed me, he's yelling at me, he's kicking me out of the house. And I had told them, I understand that men and women have differences. I will not stand in the way of your differences and arguments. All I do ask is, let me know if you don't want to, you don't want to continue this relationship. Let me know, but don't put your hands on her. Now I tell her, don't put your hands on him either. I firmly believe in that. Man, woman, 8 to 88, you can get it if you put your hands on me. I don't put my hands on women. I don't go around slapping people, but I will be damned if you're going to put your hands on me. So I've always taught my children that. They got into this altercation. He told her she had to get out. Then, and a snowstorm was coming. I asked her to put him on the phone. She put him on the phone. He and I talk like men. And I asked him, will you, I understand this is not working. It's not working out. There's a snowstorm coming. I will be there in the morning to get her. Someone will be there. He said, okay. I didn't hit her. I pushed her to get her off of me. She's in the background yelling. I said, I don't care who did what. You guys have decided that this is not working out for the benefit of either one of you. I'm going to come get you. I hung up the phone. And I got everything together that I needed for war. I'm going to Flint, Michigan, and I don't know what's going to happen. But you kind of know what's going to happen. Flint's a warrior city. I'm a warrior. Let's go to war. I gathered up everything I had, and I was going to head out the door. I called my cousin, and I let him know what was going on, and asked him, I believe I asked him if he had a place to stay. All of this is still a little false. Not all of it. This part is still foggy. Whether I asked him if I could come stay and pick my daughter up for the night once I retrieved her, or how close he was to Flint. Now, again, he's never met my daughter. We have, other than family events, he's never met my daughters. They were usually with their mom when those family events, and that's another story for another time. We'll get into that later. What I can tell you is my cousin, he has this deep radio voice, and it radiates throughout your soul. It can either make you feel good or you will be terrified. Again, he's 6'11", this bassy voice. And he said, "Cuz, I'll go get her. Don't worry about it. Just give her my number. Have her call me." And I told him where she was. He said, I got it. Well, I'll be all right. I said, okay. My daughter calls him. They arrange everything. He's going to pick her up in the morning. Now, the boyfriend has these pit bulls, these dogs, and I love pit bulls. And my cousin loves pit bulls. We all own a few pit bulls. Dawn comes, sun rises. My cousin is on his way. He gets to the house. Now, just let me put this into perspective, how big this Negro is. He gets out the car. This is the first time that my daughter has seen him. He gets out the car, and they have a Suburban. You know how big a Suburban is. Now, I can put my arm on top of a Metro. I'm 5'9". He put his arm on top of this Tahoe, and it looked like a Metro. Or any little small subcompact car that you can think of. That's what he made this car look like. He's a big man. The ex-boyfriend at this point is like, oh shit, because he's seen me. I'm 5'9". Here comes this big Negro getting out of the car and puts his arm up on a Suburban. And so the boyfriend stays inside. The dogs get loose. These two pit bulls that I told you about, they get loose. They start running at him. He's like, oh man, not today, not today. So I think he yelled at him. Whatever he did, and these pit bulls were not the friendly type of pit bull that you see. We're in Flint, Michigan. They have to be aggressive dogs. Well, they shouldn't have to be. These particular dogs were aggressive. Not that day. They saw him and decided that was not in their best interest to mess with my cousin, Big Unc. They wanted no parts of Unc. And Unc, if you see this, forgive me. I still like calling you Unc. I'm gonna do it till one of us aren't here anymore. So my daughter gets in the car, and he starts telling stories of scaring me when I'm little. But he got her. He retrieved her, and he saved my life. Because if I had have gone up there, I can't say what happened, what would have happened, but I know what would have happened. There was only two outcomes to that situation, and neither one of them were going to be good. With having a neutral party there who is family, who is willing to travel and retrieve your loved one for you, and they don't owe you anything. Nobody owes you anything. He doesn't owe me anything. My mom, my dad, nobody owes you anything. People do stuff either out of the goodness or the hardness of their heart. Period. And to think that somebody owes you for something is, in my opinion, is just wrong. So I try not to do that. If I don't expect anything from anybody, I can't get hurt. My brother and me lived by that. But back to the good part. He retrieved my daughter. I think she got on a bus or a plane, and she decided that she wanted to go back to her mother's house. So Big Unc, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I don't think that I ever told you how much that meant. I also never told you that you saved my life that day. You saved my daughter's life, and you saved my life. That man could have done anything, and he didn't. My cousin, Big Unc, put his life in jeopardy to help me. And that is what holding 10 toes down is all about. We'll also get into some stories about women I've had in my life who are 10 toes down. But I don't want to take away from this story, because it is very touching to me. It meant a lot to me to have someone do that, because most of the time no one cares. And that shaped me. That's how my cousins were. They would put you in a basement with your other smaller cousins, put boxing gloves on you, make you fight to toughen you up. At that time, it was allowed to do that. And your parents would be, hey, don't come in here talking with the adults. You go play with your cousins. And you didn't tell. Black eyes, cuts, hey, look, I tripped over the fireplace, or whatever happened. But that's how my cousin was. My cousin loved me. He was hard on me. And yeah, he jumped out and played the boogeyman, and he enjoyed every minute of it. But he loves me. And he showed me he loved me that way. And there's nothing that I can do to repay him ever for what he showed me. And with that, I'm going to go get my butt kicked at BJJ tonight. I appreciate everyone who's tuned in. Please, no thumb thugging on this one. And if you do, God help you. If you like this video, like it. If you remember a time when someone in your life stood 10 toes down or helped you become the man or woman that you are, hit that like button. Share it with somebody else. But subscribe. There's only more coming. Day 27. Big Unc out.